Good evening. My name is Alan Murphy. I'm with the law firm of Perkins, Coie, and I represent Stand Up for California, a nonprofit public service corporation. Stand Up for California objects to the city's proposed entry into the Memorandum of Understanding without first completing the CEQA review required by law. We ask that the Council continue its consideration of tonight's action to allow sufficient time to meet and discuss the issues we raise here and in the letter my client submitted on Monday. We're unaware of any governmental agency that's undertaking a CEQA analysis of the impacts of the proposed casino project. Yet CEQA review is required here for at least 4 reasons. First, by entering into the MOU, the city would facilitate approval of the casino project, even though it would not itself approve the project. The MOU is a 17-page document laying out in great detail how the city and the Wilton Rancheria will manage their relationship for the project. By adopting the MOU, there's no question the city would be helping create governmental and financial momentum toward approval of the project, as we can see tonight from many of the comments. This is precisely the type of discretionary decision that must have CEQA review before it can be taken. Second, while the city has contended it has no role in how the casino will be built and operated, numerous sections of the MOU reveal that the city does have influence and control over the project. For instance, the MOU discusses required building and construction standards, operational requirements for security, and input on casino design. These also are required to be evaluated under CEQA before the City Council can consider tonight's MOU. Third, CEQA review is also needed now for specific items that will be funded under the MOU. The MOU claims it's nothing but a funding mechanism, but Exhibit B to the document and the staff report both identify specific roadway improvements that would be funded by the MOU. The environmental impacts of these mitigating improvements must be completed before the MOU can be adopted, not, as Steph mentioned earlier, later on when they actually are built. And then fourth and finally, the MOU indicates that the city is predetermined to issue approvals without CEQA review. The MOU states that the city may issue demolition permits without first considering the impacts on the environment under CEQA. But because demolition permits would be issued as part of the larger casino project, it's clear under CEQA they cannot be approved without first completing the CEQA review for the full project's impacts. So again, we're just asking the Council tonight to continue this item until it actually considers the effects under CEQA and completes CEQA review. We hope the city will stop its apparent rush to judgment and instead take the time to complete the environmental review required under CEQA. Thank you for your consideration.
Mr. Hobbs, would you address
Thank you. Jeff Voss
regarding CEQA?
Certainly, Councilmember Hume, be happy to. Thank you for pointing out that environmental review has not been avoided through this process. There was a very thorough EIS process. For those who don't understand that process, let me just kind of let you know what that means. An EIS, environmental impact statement, is essentially the federal equivalent of an EIR, an environmental impact report, which is the state environmental analysis. Is a very voluminous document, analyzed all the impacts. Getting to the issue that was raised by the attorney for Stand Up California, the claim has been made that the city is required to conduct CEQA review in conjunction with this MOU. Well, the fact of the matter is the city did conduct CEQA review. That CEQA review led to the determination that this is exempt from CEQA as a funding mechanism. Some people don't think that that's a review under CEQA. It in fact is. It just leads to a different conclusion and an exemption. So this is exempt from CEQA. The claim by the attorney was that somehow this facilitates the project, and it may or may not do that. But the key is whether or not it approves the project. And I wrote down what the attorney said, that this decision would not approve the project. That's absolutely correct. The city and the city council does not have jurisdiction over the Indian tribe or the Indian facility. So as a matter of law and a matter of fact, you're not approving the project tonight. Because of that, this is also exempt from CEQA as not the approval of the project. A concern has been raised as to whether or not the issuance of the demolition permits, which are referenced in the MOU, would trigger CEQA review. Under state law, demolition permits are considered what we call ministerial acts, ministerial permits. They're like building permits. They're also exempt from CEQA review, so that would not trigger independent review. The city council and the city, if this is approved, is not committing to any particular project, any particular improvement. That's important from a CEQA perspective because the language of the MOU is clear about that what the city is getting through this is a funding mechanism that could be used for projects. If and when those projects go forward in the city's discretion, that would
land put into trust. We challenge that in court, not to question the validity of their sovereignty, but to say that we recognize this is a precursor to a potential casino development, and should that happen, within or without our city, if it impacts our city, we ought to be able to sit down on the negotiating table and make sure that you are paying your, quote, fair share of those impacts. That was codified in an agreement that has now been realized after negotiations with this memorandum of understanding. That's what we're discussing tonight, is whether or not our staff and the tribe have done